Hello and welcome back to another video. Happy New Year! It is 2026 and I did promise you one more video in 2025 and then I'm really sorry but I got super sick. And I could not really talk for a video, especially not one like this where I'm going to be doing a lot of yapping to you guys about 2025 and my plans for 2026. So get a hot drink, take a seat, and let's get into talking about how the year went. But before we do that, if you don't know me, hello, my name is Oku. I'm an illustrator from the UK and I make cute, fun and whimsical things from my illustrations, lots of stationery products, and I've been attending events, tabling at events over 2024 and 2025, and I plan to continue doing so in 2026 and selling my art online. But yes, let's get into a bit of a review on the year. First, I want to show you how I had my Milanote and my stuff set up for, like my plans set up for 2025, and show you how I had it all set up and how I plan to then go into 2026 with these same kind of setup, if that makes sense. Let me show you that clip and then we'll come back and chat about it. Okay, so here is my 2025 Milanote. So you can see here I've got my 2025 goals. I've got it split into quarters, which is very like business girly of me. And we've also got my product collection ideas. You can see that a lot wasn't ticked off here, so I want to show you how I planned for this year to show you kind of how I want to plan for next year, if that makes sense. My 2025 goals, I wanted to do 4 shop launches. I actually did 1, technically 2 when you count that I did my shop update this month. Well, actually kind of I did 3. I did a general shop update in January, just getting everything that I made during 2024 that I hadn't listed online. Then I did my bookish bugs in May. And then this month, December of 2025, I have done another similar thing to January where I've just listed everything that I've made throughout the year that I hadn't actually put onto my website so far. So it's just a bit more of a general shop update, but it was a lot of new stuff going onto the website. That is technically 3 shop launches, so I was only 1 down really. And when you look at how much I had planned, it was a lot more than 4 proper collections, I'd say. I also had a lot of ideas for different new products, which since then I'm kind of deciding I don't really know if I want to do the desk mats and the coasters. I would love to, but I just don't know how viable it's going to be. Desk mats take up a lot of space, something I don't have a lot of at the minute. Coasters I'm still thinking I might do, but I'm unsure. A colouring book, however, I do really want to do, and I have some fun ideas for it. However, I did do my first ever pin badges this year. I did my first magnetic bookmarks, and I did what I called here pop-up bookmarks, which are what I'm now calling bookmark buddies, and they're the kind of die-cut shaped bookmarks. I'll put a picture on the screen of one of them. The Little Friendly Witches series is the books that I'm working on with the author Maria, which I've spoken about on the channel before quite a lot, and that is still going ahead. We've made progress on it. There's been a lot of changes throughout the year, but we've planned out next year, and fingers crossed we'll be doing 3 kind of launches throughout the year. You can see in quarter 1 here, I did do everything that I intended to do. I do think some stuff got pushed into the next quarter, but that's the great thing with Milanote, is that you can move things around and it doesn't really matter. Your plans can be flexible. And I think plans should be flexible. You're never going to 100% stick to a plan. Quarter 2, I did do my bookish bugs launch. I did do a little bit of board game promo ready for UK Games Expo. Not as much as I wanted to. I wanted to have a demo ready. That wasn't a very ambitious goal. The board game is still at quite like early stages, and as I said in my last video, I'll be making kind of a different separate video on the board game soon and showing you what I've got so far and my plans for it and what I want it to be. And I might do almost like what people do with video games where they have dev vlogs, like developer vlogs, and I might try and do that with the board game just to kind of keep you guys in the loop and updated with the process. I think that would be really fun. I also wanted to do my Okipoku characters collection because one of my goals for 2025 was to keep my characters growing, and I think I achieved that in other ways but not through what I initially intended to do. So there's success here, and there's also stuff that I didn't quite do in the way that I thought I would. Quarter 3 and quarter 4, you can see I kind of abandoned this planner at this point. I didn't tick anything off. I still use Milanote, but I didn't really pay attention to this because at this point it felt a little bit overwhelming to me because I knew I wasn't going to do these things. I knew I didn't have the time at this point, and I just realized that my planning was quite off in that I hadn't allowed myself the time to make the collections and kind of accounted for that time when I'd planned the launch dates. which seems really silly, but I didn't think about it. So this year, that's what I'm really trying to do for next year. Then I do use my convention section. I use this religiously. So you can see I've already done a full update on this. This is all part of my plans for 2026 now. So I've got what I've applied for. I've got what I'm waitlisted for, which currently is none. I've got what I'm confirmed for, and stuff to look out for. This bit I haven't fully updated, the nope section. This was cons that I didn't get into or missed the applications date or things like that last year. So I need to update this for this year. But the looking out for one I think is pretty much up to date. But yeah, so it's quite an exciting list. Dokomi I now won't be doing this year, so I can move that. So I do love this part of my Milanote, and I used this so much throughout the year. It was so helpful. And now we're going to do a little update on this for next year. So I'm going to update this, and then we will come back and have a little look and talk about my ideas for 2026. Okay, if I look down, it's because I've got my little script or my notes on my phone here. So now that you've seen what my setup and what my goals were, a little recap on my goals for 2025, you've seen all of that, and you've seen what I did and didn't really accomplish in 2025. But we're just going to do a bit more in-depth talking about 2025 before I delve into all of my goals for 2026. The main thing is I just want to remind myself as well as you guys of some of the highlights of this year for me, because I feel like so often a lot of things going into the new year is a lot of doom and gloom. It's all like, I didn't do this, I didn't achieve this, and you always end up feeling like you've achieved nothing when really you've done a lot. So we're just going to remind ourselves of the highlights, and then we're going to talk about what our goals are. So one of my goals in 2025 was to table at more conventions. That's a rather vague goal, but I did kind of achieve it. I mean, I tabled at the same amount of cons as I did in 2024, which when I actually counted it, that's insane. 2024 was my first year of doing events. I tabled at 21 events in 2024. A lot of those being one-day markets, whereas this time around in 2025, it was a lot more of like multiple-day conventions, because I was a lot heavier focusing on conventions rather than like local markets. So it was a big change in the way that I was doing the conventions, but it was still the same amount of events overall, which I found really interesting when I went back and counted. I was like, oh, I didn't expect that. Every event that I did this year was an improvement on last year. If I tabled at that event the previous year, when I did it again, it was an improvement, which was so nice to see. And a lot of the events that I did just generally did better than the ones that I did in 2024, because I was doing, like I said, local one-day markets, and it just wasn't the right audience for my very kawaii cutesy stuff. You find those people at Comic-Cons, anime conventions, all the tiny places that I went to this year. I had so much fun, and it definitely gives me an even better idea going into 2026 of what I want to apply for. I've already got a lot of things that I've applied for. You saw that in the clip with my Milanote, I believe. I already have quite a lot of events planned out for this year, and I am so excited. The first one being MegaCon January. And since I got sick, I have not done as much prep as I wanted to, but next week's vlog is going to be all about doing that, so let's not talk about that now. That's not what this video is about. One of my other goals for 2025 was to experiment with wholesale, which I did successfully do. I did definitely experiment. It was somewhat successful in the fact that I did actually have 6 wholesale orders, and from not having any to having 6, even though most of them were quite small, it was a really good experience, and I think it's really fun. It's definitely something I want to try and do more of. I've actually already... It's the 4th of January as of filming, and yesterday I got my first wholesale order of the year, and so that's really cool. It's a lot to keep up with though, because I've got to get better at tracking my stock, because I've got wholesale, I've got events, obviously I've got my online shop. There's a lot of different places that my stock is being sold. I've also got stock in a physical shop in Rainbow Raw, which I go and restock myself, so that kind of comes out of my event stock and my like online shop stock, so it's a lot to think about. So I definitely need to get a better stock tracking system in place. So like I said earlier, sometimes I feel like I didn't really do much in the year, and so let's just remind myself, I did in fact keep up with a monthly sticker club for the whole 12 months of 2025, and I think that's a big achievement. Some months it was actually really hard to get it done in time, and if you're my patrons, I'm sorry, because I know that you will have realised that there's some months where I posted the rewards, only revealed the artwork right at the end of the month. I'm going to try and get better at that this year. But I did get rewards out every single month. I didn't have to pause billing, I didn't have to cancel any rewards, and I'm really, really proud of myself for that. And I'm so, so happy that during the year I've grown from 0 patrons to 5. And it doesn't sound like a lot, but that is 5 whole people that are choosing to spend monthly money for my artwork. That's amazing. That's really cool. I'm very proud of myself for keeping up with my Patreon. I'm going to stop talking about that now, but yeah, if you want to be a patron, maybe subscribe. It's in the description if you'd like to. If you'd like to join the little sticker club that we've got going. But along with that, I also did launch my Bookish Bugs collection. I'll put a few images on the screen. And I made my first ever shaker charm for that collection. I think that was really cool. It was definitely an experience to figure out how the heck making a shaker charm works. It's very confusing, but I managed to do it. I also made my first ever pin badges, and I bought a badge machine to make my own button badges. I made a gacha machine and used that and did 2 different gacha series throughout the year. And I'm now doing my second Gatchamon series, which is the Snackymons, which is going really, really well. So as I've been talking, I'm going to put some things on the screen, but overall I'm really, really happy with what I've done. What I've managed to do this year, especially as I work a part-time job as well. I'm a receptionist in a school, as well as doing this in my spare time, which is why I do that only part-time. But I have to just remind myself that I don't have as much time to do things as I did in 2024, which is a good thing because that wasn't sustainable. If you don't know my kind of story about all of that and what happened with me, I'll link it up here, but essentially I got made redundant from my full-time job and I ended up doing Okupoku full-time for like 6 months, but it was not ready to be a full-time thing, so it didn't go super well. I did see a lot of growth, but it wasn't sustainable, so I had to get the part-time job, and this year has been a lot more, it's been sustainable financially, and that's made me a lot less stressed, which is good. Okay, on to what you're really here for, which is to talk about my plans for 2026. Because if you've been following along, you would have known everything that I just said about 2025. But if you're new, then it's some new information for you. Anyway, 2026, let's talk about the plans for this year, which I am very excited. I've already got a lot of events booked in, like you saw on the Milanote plans. But I also have plans for my display, which I did want to debut at MegaCon. I'm now not sure if I'll be able to debut it at MegaCon or if it might have to be at the London Card Show in February, because I really should have done more stuff on it by now. I don't know if I'm going to have time. I'm going to see how much I can get done. We're probably going to partially do a new display for it. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm going to be making a whole video on that process as and when I do things for it as well, so you'll be able to see all of that. But I have some fun ideas just for making it a bit more of an interesting experience to come to my stand and making it a bit more unique, shall we say. I also want to continue my Patreon sticker club, of course, like I was just talking about. I want to keep doing that. So now, here's where I want to try and improve for 2026. This year, I was planning to do 4 shop updates. I didn't do 4 shop updates. I wanted to do 4 new, collection launches. I did the Bookish Bugs. But what I didn't do last year was I didn't plan them out enough, because I had in mind a launch date, and I did not have in mind when I needed to order products by, what products I really wanted to make. I started planning everything way too close to the launch date to not really give myself time to make the artwork and actually do everything. So of course, everything got delayed by 2 months because I had to actually order the products. Which I very much overlooked in my little timeline there. So what I'm trying to do now is I have actually sat down and I've planned out when I'd roughly want to launch. And it's very rough, but at least I've got these kind of idea of dates in my head. So for example, I want to launch some new Pokemon products at the London Card Show in February. That is over the weekend, including Valentine's Day, the 14th of Feb. So to get products in time for that, the new Snackymon phone charms that I want to order, I need to order those by around the 9th of January. So that gives you an idea of how long it takes to get certain products. The bookmarks that I want to do though, I can order those at the end of January because that's a UK manufacturer and they won't take long to get to me. So my priority right now is drawing my Snackymon phone charms and getting those all done and sent off to order so that I can get them in time. And then it's going to be back to doing stuff for January, which seems crazy because how can I order something for February and then still get some new stock made for January? But that's because I make my stickers at home myself. I make my sticker sheets at home myself. And the bookmarks are going to be outsourced to a UK manufacturer. So it's very confusing to think about those timelines, which is why I think it's really important that this year I've actually sat down and laid that all out ahead of time. It definitely has worked, I think. It'll just be the fact that I need to stick to it. The plan, as it's laid out, would be good. I just need to try and roughly stick to it. Another top priority this year is the illustrations for the book that I am working on with the lovely author Maria, who I briefly mentioned earlier. I'll put a little picture of us both here in case you haven't seen Maria before. But we are working on Enya the Jazz Dragon, and that book should be launching in May, which means I need to finish all the illustrations by March, and I have about 30 illustrations left to do, which is quite a lot. So I'm on a rough 2 a week kind of schedule at the minute that I need to try and stick to get this done in time, and I am enjoying working on these so much. All the illustrations are so cute, and I can't wait until I can show you them and show you the book when it's all done. It's going to be so exciting, and I'm working with Maria on a whole series, and we're already planning out book 2 and another interesting launch, which I won't reveal yet. But there's exciting stuff coming. I've already had like a whole planning meeting with Maria about 2026 and everything that we're going to be doing. So it's pretty exciting, but I can't say much more right now. So saying it all out loud like this, it sounds like a lot for this year. But I think the way that I've planned it is going to be a lot better. It's going to work well. Fingers crossed. And I've just ordered a new planner, so that's going to solve all my problems. The planner girlies will know. That's true. It's true. But I really, really hope that this year goes well. I can't wait to keep making videos and show you all of the progress that we're going to make this year. And I would love, love, love to hear about what your goals are for 2026 in the comments. If you'd like to share, let me know what your plans are this year. Whether that be like personal goals or business goals or anything that you're happy to share, just let us know. We can start a little conversation in the comments. That would be really, really nice. But most of all, I wish you all a very, very happy new year, belated as it is, and all the best for 2026. Happy planning!